ice in my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this.
Hi, I'm Callan. I'm competing in the under 93s at United Champions.
Go.
Oh, it's like it's my first time
What
ever.
it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing
Never
straight,
done
never
advertising
stop,
before.
never changed. All so I
I've never
Been in commercials?
actually have. I actually have. Did you know that?
Yeah. Somehow that didn't come up before. I think we tried to find it.
We did try.
Oh, it's easy. I can show you.
Cut that into a YouTube video.
I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say.
All right. What's your name and who are you?
I just said it to the camera. I'm.
Yeah, he actually doesn't need to answer that.
No, I'll say
What's your name and who are you?
I'm Callan Gibbons. That's all you need to know.
And what do you do?
I'm a coach, powerlifting coach.
Perfect. What are your hobbies outside of powerlifting?
Anime, Gundam, annoying Kirsty with Gundam and anime.
How long have you been a powerlifting coach?
Since 2016. So what's that? 8 years?
8 years powerlifting coaching.
Yeah.
What got you into powerlifting?
I started in the gym. I was doing normal bodybuilding stuff, trying to get jacked, trying to get big, improve confidence, all that kind of stuff, and saw some people doing some sumo deadlifts, and I was like, these skinny people are lifting a lot of weight. Maybe I can, because I'm a skinny boy and I want to lift a lot of weight as well. And that's where it started. Simple as that.
How long ago was that?
That was 2014.
And how many competitions have you done since then?
20.
What's your highlight competition so far?
You know the answer.
You gotta tell them. People don't know.
The people know the answer.
Yeah, you gotta tell
You know
them.
the answer.
People don't know the answer.
Worlds in 2023, Malta.
And what was so special about Worlds?
The combination of those 20 comps coming together to reach that world stage.
What is one thing you know now that you wish you knew when you'd started powerlifting?
That I would still be powerlifting all these years later, and I don't need to rush. I don't need to find these programs that are going to add 20 kilos to my bench in 4 weeks' time. I just need to stay on the path that I'm on, and I'll get where I need to be.
Do you think a lot of people now are maybe going through the same thing where they're like trying to...
Oh, everyone is. Everyone tries to rush. Everyone thinks that they need to get to a certain point right now, which is fair. Like I understand that people want to achieve their goals and they want to get there as soon as they can, but you're just going to get burnt out if you just go all in too fast.
Have you experienced burnout?
100%. Yeah, last year after Worlds. It was like, 2-year process to get to Worlds. Competing like non-stop. Nationals was such a big drain as well. Ended up getting into Worlds, and then after that, try to get back into training. I was very motivated. You would know. I was motivated the night of competing at Worlds. I was ready to get back into the gym that day. But then 2 weeks later, when I got back into training, I was just, cooked. I needed a rest. I needed to change things up. So,
Do you see it now, like coming into the level that you're at as an athlete and going, okay, if I'm going to do a comp, it is that 2-year plan now?
there needs to be a long-term plan with it. I can't just be like, and just do this next comp coming up or anything like that. It's like, okay, I've got this big comp planned out. I'll train for this, and then I'm going to have X amount of time off. So it's like, I've got my plans to compete in Night of Champions, Nationals, possibly whatever comp comes up next year, whether it is Worlds, whether it is another representative comp, and then I'll have a bit of time off after that. Yeah.
Is that some advice that you would have probably given your younger self as well?
Not necessarily, just because at that stage the comps aren't as high pressure, they're not as high stakes, that you can keep doing these comps and you're not putting as much pressure on yourself if you are going to, say, like a state champions or anything like that. Which isn't to dismiss the importance of those comps, but it's like when you're having to travel, when you're having to do all these other bits and pieces for it, it does add up.
Do you think coming back from Worlds last year now, you're like, oh, I can, because you experienced that firsthand now, it's like, oh, I can see how that may occur again, and now you've got the tools and processes in place to kind of balance out life a bit better?
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely the main thing is balancing life. Like that's a big thing with having these comps, having these goals. If you are solely focused on that, you don't have any time to do anything else. So having that time to just decompress, go do other things outside of competing is very important. And I've realised that over this last year.
What's one thing you think like that you've now gained having that time off that you're like, okay, that actually makes me a better powerlifter now if I keep that in during my journey to get back into a competitor?
That just because I'm not always pedal to the metal that I'm going to still achieve results. Even if I have a bit of time off, in the long term, it's going to be beneficial mentally, physically, everything. Like if you're always push, you don't have any time to recover, you don't have any time to reflect and actually like understand where you're at and what you need. Yeah.
So what are some reflections you've had in your preparation to Worlds and now with the possibility of going back?
In terms of training, I think I have all the tools that I need to get to where I want to go. It's just a matter of sticking to that plan, not necessarily being like, okay, I need to go and revolutionize everything in my training. I need to change all these things. It's like, I've got to this point doing what I've done before, and I know these things work. Let's just add these together and we're going to get there. I don't need to go off and be like, what's the next like Shico template program that I'm going to train, you know? It's like, I've got all this data, I've got all this information, I know what works for me. That's what I need to do. I don't need to go off and search for someone else and look at what they're doing. Like, I know how I respond to training, I know it works.
Do you think in the past you've compared to other people?
Oh, 100%, yeah. Yeah, it's always a thing of like looking at what someone else is doing for their programming and their training and being like, okay, what can I take from that? Or how can I replicate that to get those same results? Very much so.
Do you think that's created cloudiness at times?
At certain times it's worked in terms of getting a new perspective on things, but at the same time it's like, you know what it's like if you're always chopping and changing things, you're not allowing things time to progress and things to sink in and actually like reap the rewards from it.
So who's your biggest role model and why?
Jacob Sophie. No, sorry, not actually. It's actually Chris. It's actually Chris. Do I get extra prize money for this?
Yeah. Are you gonna win it?
Fuck, I hope so. Biggest role model, parents. Just everything they've provided and taught me in my life. They've always been the biggest supporters at every big comp that I've done. So they were there at Worlds. So.
What are some lessons you've taken from what your parents have maybe done when you're growing up that you've been able to apply to yourself now as like a person but also as a competitor?
I think it's mainly just the sacrifices and the commitment they've shown to whatever I've put myself into, whether it is soccer, whether it is powerlifting, they've just always been there supporting me. I think that's the main thing. Just always being that support and being there if I need them. That's the main thing, yeah.
How do you feel now knowing that you're going to have more of a home crowd in front of you?
Yeah, it's cool. I always feel like I have a home crowd anyway because I have such a good support that comes with me. But it's been since I can't remember when it was.
2022?
It was February here. When was it February here?
Yeah, so
it's 2022. Yeah, so since that. So I honestly can't remember what it's like to compete in Perth. But I'm sure it'll be good having everyone around, yeah.
What's your goals for the next few years, both as a powerlifter, as a person? Where's Callum going?
Back to Japan. That's literally what I told Kirsty. I was reading through the list of questions and I was like, yep, back to Japan. So in the near future with lifting, nationals, the goal is to always win. That's always the goal at nationals. So if that goes to plan, then either Worlds or Japan for the competition that's over there. That's my plan so far in terms of competing. Depending on what happens with that, then like I said, I'll have a bit of time off, whether it is just a month or two. I'll still obviously be training, but like just changing the focus a little bit. In terms of outside of powerlifting, or outside of competing myself, obviously coaching, getting more people to a high level, high standard of competing as well. Obviously having Jordan going to junior world, is cool. So hopefully get a few more people going to some international comps and more people going over to nationals. And then outside of all of that, just marriage, hopefully. I should probably add that in, Kirsty, you want me to say that? But yeah, definitely marriage, more traveling, just enjoying life outside of competing, taking time to enjoy life, yeah.
How does it feel balancing being the coach and the athlete?
It's definitely easier now. It used to be harder before. I was very much like, I am number one in terms of like how I would focus on things. It's obviously going to be hard with competition coming up, Night of Champions, like clients competing during the day. We'll have to navigate through that with some extra help. So it's one of those things I have to pick and choose when to prioritize either situation. Like going into Worlds, I was very much like those last 2-3 weeks, it was very much I'm like priority number one at this point in time, and like clients know that. But it's just, yeah, having the time to let everyone know what the priority is and where everything's at. Yeah.
Have you found a lot of your clients have like really been receptive to watching you rise in your own journey?
Yeah, I think they understand, like having them competing as well, they understand what goes into competing, the mental aspect of it. Having someone that's at a higher standard than that, they understand that the level just grows from that, and the time and the mindset needed for that is on a different level. So that it's just the understanding from them that, yeah, like they go through the same thing to their own level. So yeah, just having that understanding, yeah.
What makes you a champion?
I have no idea. I honestly don't see myself as a champion because I haven't achieved what I want to achieve yet. Besides going to Worlds, I haven't won nationals. I haven't done anything like that. I've come second at nationals a few times now, second at Oceanias. Yeah. Obviously I know I've achieved a lot in terms of getting to Worlds and all that kind of stuff, but I still have a higher standard that I want to keep myself to, or that I want to achieve. So the name Night of Champions is there. I'm just going and competing. That's all.
So you're talking about, okay, your next step in your progression is winning nationals, really. That's the next big KPI for you. Talk to us about the steps. Like first time you've got to battle Jonesy again. That's your first big challenge. Your next big challenge, because you've got to re-qualify. Your next big challenge is going to nationals, and you're going to have Takua, you're going to have Jonesy, you're going to have Belgrove, you're going to have all these other people on the board. How's that shifted how you're approaching this now? Because you've got battle.
Honestly, like that's just what I've been doing in comps in the past anyway, so it's no different in terms of how I'm prepping for Night of Champions. I'm just doing what I know works for me, and I'm just sticking to that. I'm not worrying about what Jonesy's doing. I love Jonesy. I know what he does in training. It's not going to impact what I do. I'm not going to be like, oh, Jonesy's done X amount of weight, I'm going to do X amount of weight plus one. You know, I've done that in the past and that hasn't worked. I'll do it with other people. Like I'll talk shit to other people about it. But like Cam, for example, like I'll rep out your max bench, Cam. But like I'm not competing against Cam. I'm just having fun. You know, that's what motivates me. Having fun and talking shit with mates. Seeing other competitors, what they're doing is awesome, but I know that comparing to them isn't going to be beneficial for me.
Talk to us about 2022 Nats.
Mm-hmm.
You're going in for that last pool. It's all on the line.
Yeah.
Do you think now, with the reality of you having to pull last again, do you think you've got the better tools now to handle such situations?
Oh yeah, I think going through that nationals, Worlds, Perth Cup, all that kind of stuff, when it has been that last deadlift that's been the deciding factor, I know what I've done in all of those hasn't worked. I know at nationals I was in the corner for 10-15 minutes blasting the same song on repeat, just like in my own head, like trying to stay at that hype level for that long. I just got cooked by the time it came to doing that actual deadlift. So I know that I need to change how I approach it, and I know what I need to do. Yeah. I'm just going out to have fun. That's all it is.
Are you going to take home the prize money?
That's the plan. If I have fun, I'll be taking home the prize money. Winning is fun, so I want to have fun.
Yeah.
Strategy v Jonesy. What's the plan in terms of, you know, subtotal? You know, obviously you're going to pull last. You know, the slightly higher thing, is it just stick with him as close as you can on squat?
Yeah, just explain it.
There's literally no plan.
Play it on the day.
Yeah,
Talk
okay.
about playing it on that.
Do you want me to say that now?
Yeah.
I need a question.
What's your strategy?
Win.
That's the cut there. That's all we're putting. What's the strategy?
No, like, there is no, at this point in time, anything can happen on the day. Like we've seen at previous competitions, we'll come in with these game plans. Looking at what Jonesy and I have done in the past, like we know that Jonesy can miss lifts and he can come back from that. So it's like, it doesn't matter if he misses his opener, he's still gonna come up, he's gonna increase from that and hit it, you know? So like, we know that from previous results. So it's like, I can have this game plan, but anything can happen on the day. So we're just gonna run it by how it goes.